Okay, so now we have this case. Determine if numbers inside an array are even. And we have this array. So what do we need to do? So we need to find out if 23 is even, and then 14, then 12, then 10, 15, and 8. So we already know that if we use modulus in computer science, we can check if we can use modulus to see if numbers multiple of another number. So the basics we have to do is that 23 modulus 2 is going to give us an answer, in which in this case will not be 0. We don't care what is going to be the answer, but we know that it's not, 23 is not multiple of 2. So, and then we know that if it's not even, we don't do anything. That's because of the what we have here. It's not telling us, just determine if the numbers inside the array are even. So now let's go with 14. 14 modulus 2 is equals to 0. Why? Because we know that there's no remainder. Remember that modulus looks or gives the remainder in a division. So if we do 23 divided by 2, we know that it fits 11 times, and we have 11 times 22 will give it, that 11 times 2 will give us 22, and then we subtract. This is the remainder, or modulus. And if you pay attention, this is this. So if we now do 14 divided by 2, we know 7. 7 times 2 is 14, and our modulus or remainder or modulus is 0. And then that's when we know that 14 is a multiple of 2. Okay, so let's come back to our assignment and start again. So what are we going to do? We're going to check if 23 modulus 2 is equals 0. Then if this is true, we print even. If not, we don't check, we don't do anything. 14 modulus 2. And then 12 modulus 2. And remember that whenever we are doing this, is that we are checking if left side and right side are equal. So the answer is true or false. So in this case, in the first, is 23 modulus 2 true? No, this is going to be false. Is 14 modulus 2 equals to 0? Yes, so it will be true. 12 divided by 2 is equals 0 is true. Yes, it's true. And then we go with 10 modulus 2 and 15 modulus 2. We check if it's equals to 0. And then we have, is 10 modulus 2 equals to 0? Is that true? True. Is 15 modulus 2 is true that is equals to 0? No, that's false. Okay? So as we have seen and learned, we don't want to go, imagine that our num list has 1,000 numbers or 100, even 50. We don't want to do this over and over because we can put this on our code as follows. You can always do if parenthesis 23 modulus 2 equals 0, and then you put, if it's true, you will put console log, and you put here 23 is even. Okay, and that's what we are doing. But first, just right now, this is not a loop. It's just checking 23. So we want to do 23 and 14 and 12 with only one line of code. We want this to happen by itself as long as how long is this, how many items we have there. So then we have to determine the length of our num list. And just like in the other video, we can do the following. We can do the variable a will store the length of our num list, so we can do num list dot length. And in this case, a will hold 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 will be 6. You don't like variable a, no worries. We create another variable, array length equals the num list dot length, and it will be the same thing. This will hold the value of 6. Now that we have that, now we can do our for loop. And this is, we start doing it. So we have for, remember that we have this array here. So let me bring it down so we don't forget about this. Duplicate, bring it down. So this is where we're going to start. Okay, so for we declare let I, which is our counter, remember, initialize counter. The condition to check I has to be less than what? So we know that it has to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, less than 6 to be true. But what about if we change the size of our array? So we do num list dot length. Or for those of you that want to use simple variables, you can bring this here instead of num list length. You can bring it this array length variable here. It's up to you. And then we do that increment that change to our counter, which be in this case I plus plus. So we have here the condition, and then we have the increment. Not the increment, change in counter, because remember that we can use here plus plus minus minus plus equals 2 plus times equals 5. So this is a change in our counter. Okay, so we have the code, And then we're going to work on the body. Remember that we have to open our brackets here. And if we open, we have to close. Now, what are we going to do? It's going to start on, it's going to start 0. If this is true, and then we're going to tell the for what to do in this section. So we go, depends on what we want to do. What do we want to do? We want to check if each of these positions is multiple of 2. How do we do that? We tell it, hey, check if what? If non-list position I is true, that is equals, no, I apologize, modulus 2 is equals, it's true that is equals to 0, what do you want to do? Well, we want to print console log, and here we put non-list position I plus it's even. What will be the output? In this case, our output will be, if this were to be true, it will be the number that is in that position 0, in which case this is 23 won't work, so we'll go to 14. It's even. And you know what? This is wrong, it's not even, it's just is even, and here is even. Remember, this is the output. And then we close our if. And that's it. That's it. We went through the whole process of the loop, and it's going to check 0, position 0. No, it's not a multiple of 2. Then what happens? I plus. So we put position 1, 14, yes. So we will print 14, and then it's going to print 12, and it's going to print 10, and then 8. Okay, because all of these numbers are multiple of 2. Okay, so I left this space on purpose. My question for you is to use this video for the assignment of the vowels of the consonants. Imagine that is not an array. Imagine that is a string. Imagine you don't want to print right now if it's even. What do you want to do? You want to print, you want to check what? I'm not going to give you the whole thing, but I'm trying to guide your process thinking that you want to compare what? What do you want to do here? If this position, let's say this is Apple, if position A is what? Is equals to what? Then it's going to be what? Vowel, a consonant, and then just like the other assignment of the personality quiz, how did you keep track? That's why I kept telling you, be mindful of how you keep track of the score. And many students I saw that they didn't do this the best way. So this is how when you start finding those issues, and that's okay. We learn from those mistakes. I honestly hope this video helps you to understand a little bit more. If not, we can address this further in class.